Good evening and welcome to PTV World Desk. I am Daniel Mwaboso. The police has invited the President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, to appear before it following allegations made by suspects in the bank robbery in Offa on April 5th. The police force public relations officer ACP Moshood Jimo stated this on Sunday while parading some suspects linked to the bank robbery. Francis Atuko has the rest of the story.
These are the suspects arrested in connection with the Offa bank robbery. They were arrested a few weeks ago by the Nigerian police force. And this is the car the gang leader, Ayoade Akinibosun, claimed was given to him by the chief of staff to the governor of Kwara State. The same car was used for the robbery operation with the help of these guns. So, one of the gang members, while answering questions from the newsmen, alleged that the gang was receiving support from the governor of Kwara State, Abdul Fattah Ahmed, and the Senate President, Bukola Saraki.
The connections between me and the Senate President is, he is the one that is arranging everything for us. For example, this car was given through the Chief of Staff as a gift from the...
Who is His Excellency?
Governor Fattah Ahmed. Through the Chief of Staff of Kwara State.
Okay.
As a gift from the leader, Bukola Saraki. Really? I participated in the Offa robbery. I took this Lexus car along to the Offa.
After their arrest in Kwara, these suspects were transferred to Abuja as part of investigations into the bank robbery. Police spokesman Jimo Moshood railed out the crimes committed by the suspects. Moshood also revealed that the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, was indicted by the suspects and have been invited for questioning.
The 5 gang leaders, namely Ayoade Akinibosun, Ibikunle Ogunleye, Adeola Abraham, Salaudeen Assis, Niyi Ogundiran, and some of the other 17 suspects arrested for direct involvement and active participation in the Offa bank robbery and the gruesome killing of 33 innocent persons, which includes some pregnant women and 9 police personnel, admitted, confessed, and volunteer statement that they were political talks of the Senate President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Bukola Saraki, and the Executive Governor of Kwara State, Alhaji Abdul Fattah Ahmed. The Senate President, Senator Bukola Saraki, is being invited to report to the police to answer allegations, indicting him from convention of 5 gang leaders, to report to the police to answer allegations indicting him from convention of 5 gang leaders arrested for active participation in Offa bank robbery and the killings of 33 innocent people in Offa that day.
Shortly after the Offa bank robbery, the Senate President Bukola Saraki alleged that there were plans to rob him, with induced statements extracted from some of the suspects arrested in connection with the Offa bank robbery.
The information that he has is for them to try how they will alter their statements already made in Lorry and try and implicate the state government, and particularly myself.
For now, the Senate President has been invited by the police. Nigerians will only hope that the outcome of the investigation will be transparent.
The Nigerian chapter of the Christians United for Israel, CUFI, on Sunday celebrated the continued success of Israel and its 70th national celebration at the National Christian Center, Abuja. The ambassador of Israel to Nigeria, Guy Fieldman, said the collaboration between the CUFI and the Embassy of Israel in Nigeria dates back to 2008. He said CUFI appreciated the role played between Nigeria and the State of Israel. David Bakare, chairman of CUFI Prayer Outreach Nigeria, said that the group was coming together to celebrate and pray for God's continuous blessings on Israel as one of Nigeria's strongest allies was currently going through hard times. According to the bishop, Israel is currently undergoing attacks by countries around it, especially after Israel was declared as the capital. The chairperson of the African Union Commission, Moussa Matahan, in a statement on Monday, has urged political actors in Mali to refrain likely to induce greater political polarization and further worsen the situation in that country. This is because violent clashes occurred on Saturday, in the capital city Bamako, sparked by demonstrations by opposition parties. This is happening just 1 month ahead of Mali's presidential elections in July. More than a dozen were reportedly injured during the demonstration organized in Bamako by the opposition. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Saturday called for calm and restraint by all parties in the country. And in Madagascar, the Madagascar Prime Minister Olivier Solonandrasana Mahafali has stepped down due to protracted political crisis in the country. This is to enable President Henry Rajaonarima Piananina to choose a new prime minister in agreement with the opposition. Mahafali's resignation came 4 days after Defense Minister Benny Xavier Rasolofanirina threatened that the military would step in if the government would not follow a constitutional order to find a consensus candidate for the post of a prime minister. The opposition has been demanding the resignation of Mahafali for several weeks, sometimes through violent protest. The Constitutional Court has given the president until June 2nd to form a new government of national unity. Once the president appoints a new prime minister, the prime minister will form a new government within 7 days. And in South Africa, former South African Prime Minister Jacob Zuma is impending a crackdown on corruption by the ruling African National Congress ANC under President Cyril Ramaphosa. The ANC has become increasingly divided since Zuma was ousted by Ramaphosa's faction in February. Many of the Zuma's allies remain in top party position, and analysts say they may try to block Ramaphosa's reform programs, which is aimed at boosting economic growth and investment. Zuma has pledged to stick with the ANC and distance himself from talks about the formation of an alternative party by supporters in his home province of KwaZulu-Natal. The former President Zuma is due in court on Friday to face corruption charges relating to a $2.5 billion arms deal. And now in France, the office of French President Emmanuel Macron has welcomed comments by German Chancellor Angela Merkel on reforms of the European Union and the Eurozone. The LC Palace said in a statement that Merkel is concerned about European sovereignty, including the issue of migration. It added that there was also a convergence regarding reforms of the currency union and that Berlin and Paris, however, have more to do in the coming weeks to work on a more ambitious agreement on the banking union and of the budgetary capacity of Eurozone. Meanwhile, Merkel had presented her vision of how the Eurozone should develop amongst other topics. We'll take a quick break right now. When we come back, Foreign World Desk continues.
Gratitude is my attitude. Giving is in my character. The more you give, the happier you are.
Welcome back to World Desk. Guatemala's Fuego volcano erupted, killing at least 25 persons and leaving residents covered in ash as they fled from billowing flumes. The Fuego volcano, about 40 kilometers, 25 miles south of the capital, Guatemala City, spewed a river of red-hot lava and thick clouds of smoke and ash into the sky. Fast-moving flows hit villages, killing people inside their homes. Hundreds were injured and many are missing. The country's main airport is also closed. Guatemala's President Jimmy Morales has declared 3 days of national mourning. And in Denmark, the parliament has approved the construction of a 70-kilometer fence on the border with Germany as part of efforts to combat the threat of African swine fever, often carried by wild boar. The fever, which is not dangerous to humans but always fatal in pigs, yet have no vaccine. In addition, erecting the fence, other measures will include erecting cattle grids on roads and paths leading into Germany, hiking fines for insufficient disinfection of vehicle transporting livestock, and easing wild boar hunting regulations. German Justice Minister Katharina Barley has expressed concerns over Facebook's behavior months after the social media giant became embroiled in data misuse scandal. The scandal affected up to 85 million users across the world. The minister has demanded more transparency. Facebook admitted in April that it operated Facebook company chief Mark Zuckerberg has since sought to demand amends, apologizing in a hearing before the U.S. Congress and to EU lawmakers, as well as pledging to apply new European data protection rules globally. The Tunisian Ministry of Defense has said the number of illegal immigrants killed after their boat sank off the southeastern coast of Tunisia on Sunday has risen to 48. A total of 75 people have been rescued so far, including 60 Tunisians, 5 from sub-Saharan Africa, 2 Moroccans and 1 Libyan. Relief operations are continuing in coordination with the army as well as units of the Maritime Guard and Civil Protection. No fewer than 180 illegal migrants were aboard the boat stranded off the island of Kernan on the southeastern coast of the country, including 80 African nationalities. A motorcycle suicide bomber killed 8 people near the entrance to a 2-day peace gathering of Muslim clerics in the Afghan capital. According to security officials, the bomb exploded near a residential area in the west of Kabul, where women were crying as they gathered with their families. No group immediately claimed responsibility for the attack, which underlines deteriorating security ahead of parliamentary and district council elections set for October 20th. The Taliban are seeking to return the country to strict Islamic rule after their 2001 ouster by US-backed troops. Jordan Prime Minister Hani Mulki has resigned after days of protest against tax rises and austerity measures. The recent demonstrations in the country, which is a key Western ally, are biggest in years. Protesters have chanted anti-government slogans and clashed with police, who have fired tear gas and blocked the roads. Protests has continued for 4 consecutive nights, and police say dozens of people have been detained and more than 40 members of the security forces have been injured. Mulki had refused to scrap the bill, saying it is left to Parliament to decide whether to pass it or not. Filipinos on Monday told President Rodrigo for kissing a woman on the lips during a meeting with the Filipino community in Seoul during his visit to South Korea. saying a woman should get it because he wanted a kiss in exchange. Two women went up the stage and Duterte told them to share the book. The 73-year-old president gave one of the women a peck on the cheek, but signaled to the other woman that he wanted a kiss on the lip. While the crowd at the meeting cheered and laughed, other Filipinos took to social media to criticize Duterte's act. The woman, who is married to a South Korean and has 2 children, said there was no malice in the kiss, which was meant to entertain and excite the audience. Duterte has in the past been accused of making sexist, misogynistic, and disrespectful comments against women. A study has found that those who have serious mental illness have significantly higher smoking rates than the general population. Researchers at Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis found they can help such patients quit smoking habits by using low burden and common sense strategy. Using questionnaires to survey pharmacists and the doctors, nurses, and case workers, the researchers found that 80% of the patients who smoke and have a serious mental illness want to quit smoking, and that 60% made an attempt to quit in the last year. 85% of the healthcare providers surveyed report that the main reason they don't offer medication or smoking cessation counseling to their patients is because patients don't want it. After surveys of patients made it clear that they had interest in stopping smoking, healthcare providers in 4 St. Louis area community mental health care centers were trained about medications and other options to help patients quit. Japan's finance minister has said he will return in a full year's salary after his ministry was found to have tampered with public documents. An inquiry found that references to Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and his wife were removed from papers relating to a controversial sale of state land. Taro Aso accepted that the scandal hurt public confidence in the ministry and the government, but he said he would not step down over the incident. Abe has been accused of cronyism since it emerged that a school operator with links to his wife bought state land at a highly discounted rate in alleged cover-up. At a press conference on Monday, Aso, who also serves as Deputy Prime Minister, said that the falsification of documents is unacceptable and extremely regrettable, and said he would return his salary of 30 million yen, about $274,000. UN nuclear chief Yukiya Amano has said Iran should not be seen dragging its feet on nuclear options. Meanwhile, the U.S. left the 2015 nuclear deal with the Islamic Republic following U.S. Donald Trump's decision. Implementation of the deal, it has been given access and facilities under the additional protocol. The IAEA Director General added that timely and proactive cooperation by Iran in providing such access would facilitate implementation of the protocol. The police has invited the President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, to appear before it following allegations made by suspects in the bank robbery in Offa on April 5th. Public Affairs Relations Officer ACP Moshood Jimo stated this on Sunday while parading some suspects linked to the bank robbery. Francis Atuko has the rest of the story. That's about what we can take on PTV World Desk. Many thanks for watching. I'm Daniel Wamboso.
This is a road. Our road. The road used to be good. Now, the road is not so good.
Come on for road now.
We tried to manage the road like that.
In the next 5 minutes, I will be there.
Some of us didn't even care. But there are other options.